Just on the screen. So my name's Trevor Fall. I started teaching in 1998. So when I'm teaching students at the universities, I started teaching before many of them were born, if they're 18 or 20 or 22. But I started in Indonesia. And so I was saying to someone a bit earlier, like I graduated from university here, and then I went to Indonesia and I taught English for 5 years. So I was teaching adult English learners, and also I was at 2 business universities with business English and academic English. I came back, well, my wife and I came back in 2004, and I started teaching at the University of Manitoba. So I was there for 5 years with their academic English program. So some of the skills that I chatted about in previous videos and what I'll talk about tonight, I started trying to think, how can we simplify things? Because you look through a textbook and there's always lots of information. But I was like, how do we simplify and just help you with specific strategies? And since 2007, I've also helped students with IELTS and TOEFL. And then since 2018, that's when CELPIP became popular and was being used for immigration purposes. So I've been helping people pass their CELPIP in order to help them for immigration entrance as well. So Donna and I have known each other for a couple of years now, and we kind of co-lead this. But in the evenings on Monday nights, I'm teaching at Red River College. So that's why I'm coming in by video, sharing a few secrets and tips that I've learned over the years. And then Donna's been leading you guys as we go through. And from what I've heard, she's been doing a great job. So thank you. It's good for that. So tonight, I'm going to talk a little bit about reading. And so I have a couple of questions just to start with. What are the skills we need when we're practicing or increasing our reading skills? What do we have to do?
More words.
Sorry?
More words.
Words? Yeah. So vocabulary is often...
Vocabulary.
Okay. And what else do we need?
Like a comprehension? I don't know the words for it.
Nope, that's the word. So comprehension. Okay. So looking at something and understanding what it's talking about and how these sentences fit with the sentences earlier or later. Anything else that we need? Oh, we got 2. Grammar. Okay, so maybe a little bit with grammar. Okay. Anything else? Okay, so I'll share a couple of ideas, but let me just pull out, because most of you will know what this is. And when I'm looking at learning English, but reading specifically, it's very similar to us learning how to play a sport. And so, depending on the audience, I usually talk about football or I talk about basketball within those areas. But if you think about football, and many of you have watched many games, and you're cheering on your team, but when you're playing football, what skills do you need to play football well? So what do you do with the ball?
Speed practice.
Okay, so speed. Okay, what else?
Realness.
Sorry? Okay, talent. But what are the skills? Because we know there's talent, and then there's, you know, the prodigies like Ronaldo and others, but what are specific skills that coaches have them practice? So what do they have to...
Passing.
Okay, good. So I have to learn and be good with passing the ball with my feet. Okay? So passing, what else do I need?
Discipline.
Control the ball.
Discipline. So I need to be doing something regular in order to go through. Okay, control of the ball. So in basketball and soccer or football, we call that dribbling. So I need to be able, and I'm not very good with football. I played hockey and baseball more than American football, but yeah, so you need to be able to control the ball with your feet. So I need to pass it, I need to be able to shoot and be accurate to get in the net, and then I also need to be able to dribble it. So those are 3. And then with speed, or with us running, there's actually 2 types of speed. I need to run really fast for a short distance because I have to get the ball. But I also have to play for a whole hour or 2 hours. So I need to have stamina or cardiovascular energy. So each of those are individual skills that the coach makes me practice. I just don't go and play a game. And so, especially when I see students getting ready for exams, most of them say, I say, how do you prepare? Well, I took a IELTS practice test. I did 3 of them last Saturday. I'm going to do 2 more tonight, and then I'll be ready. Well, that's like saying, I'm just going to play a game, and then you're not really developing your skills. You're just trying to see how many you can get right. And so what I usually recommend, or let's see if it falls or not, what I talk about in looking at those skills and when I compare it. So this isn't, you know, dribbling is not exact like vocabulary, but these are the different areas that we need to know in order to do well when you're reading. And so vocabulary is mentioned, understanding organization. So usually of your introduction, you're going to have body sentences or paragraphs, which also is similar when you're writing or giving a speech. And then transition signals, some of you may be familiar. If you're a student in my class, it's something that I hammer to my students. But first, second, in addition, when I see however or on the other hand, I know it's an opposite idea. Those are all little signals that guide me through, and I can see those words quickly. Skim and scan is what I'm going to talk about tonight, and then comprehension. So tonight I'm just going to focus, because I just have a 10-minute window, but I'm just going to focus on skimming and scanning, because I find it's something you can do at home with any material. What I did tonight is I just grabbed some magazines from the library. This is a Winnipeg Parent, but there's also the real estate magazine. Some of you are looking maybe for housing or for rentals. You can use any of those just to increase your reading speed with this. But have you heard or do you know what skimming and what scanning is?
No.
No?
When you try to find special information in a text.
Exactly, yeah. So it's find specific or special information. Ignacio?
No, I was about to say the same one.
Same
It's
thing?
when probably there is a paragraph,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't read it all, you read just the beginning or the end or what you need to read about it.
Excellent. And so if I look in the dictionary, they have this long sentence that's kind of confusing for skimming and for scanning. I've broken it down into 4 words for each skill. So when you're skimming, you're going to look at a section. So for example, if I have this whole thing, I'm not trying to comprehend, and I think that's a mistake. Sometimes we're like, oh, I need to know every word. No, I'm just trying to look, what's on this page? So if I look at the top, it's talking about teenagers being outdoors. Maybe there's a few other words I don't even know, the vocabulary, but at least I'm like teenagers outdoors, some information, thinking about language, okay, advertisements. So I've just seen what are the big picture, big ideas that are there. So read quickly for main idea. And then with scanning, I'm reading quickly, but I'm now looking for the specific information, a name, a time, a date. So with IELTS, with CELPIP, or with the assessments that teachers will give you in a classroom, 30 to 40% of the questions are usually skimming and scanning. So what's the idea of the passage, or who was the person, or what year did this occur, or those types of things. So usually what we do, so let's just say the question was, what year? And so I start reading and I read through all of this trying to find a year. But at home, if we're practicing skimming and scanning by looking through different articles and finding numbers and details, instead of going through and looking, I can just glance at it, find the number, circle it or identify it, and then answer my question. And by getting faster with this, then I can take more time with vocabulary and comprehension. So I answer the easy, quick questions first, and then I slow down and answer comprehension. And I think that shift in thinking, because in school, usually you're like, okay, you have to get 100%. You know, that was the goal. You're trying to get 80%, 90%, 100%. But in the exams, CELPIP, IELTS, TOEFL, you're trying to get 75%. That's university level. So a 6.5 or a 7 is about 75%. In CELPIP, it's on a rating scale, so about an 8 or a 9 is about 75%. So if students come to me and say, Mr. Trevor, I have a CLB 5, or on IELTS I have a 5, I need to get much higher. They're not trying to get an 8. I don't need to bring them from a 5 to an 8. I just need to help them get a few more questions correct to bring them to the 6.5 that they need. And that's an easier goal with that. Anyway, so looking for numbers, names of people, places, details, etc. And so let's do a quick practice with this. And that's why I said earlier, if you have a pen or a pencil. So we're going to start just looking at the back side of this paper. So take a copy and pass it around to each other, please. There's 3, I'll get one more. Okay, and to start with, we're just going to look at the back. At the bottom of that page, there's 2 ads. Okay, we're going to start simple, and then I'll make it a bit more complex. But if you look at the bottom, there's 2 ads that are on this, like go to the back, yeah, and then there's 2 ads that are in the block there. So what I want you to do is, let's look at the first ad that has the attention parents. Okay, so it's on the left-hand side, attention parents. I just want you to tell me, what's the phone number? Okay. Okay, so 204-633-5566. Okay, so it's down in the little orange section. Some of you found it faster than others, not because, I mean, maybe because your English is a bit higher, but not necessarily. For some of you, your eye muscles, you've been quicker in looking at numbers. And so that's why I talked earlier about skills with a sport, with football or basketball. I can be quicker with this than some people. I'll give my sister as an example. My sister's 4 years older than I am. In high school, her English marks were always 80, 85, 90. My English marks, this will shock some of you, my English marks in high school were 72, 74, 75. Because in high school English, it's not strategies, it's poetry, it's creative writing, it's understanding Shakespeare. I'm not that interested in Shakespeare, I'll be honest with you. I was more into sports or math or those types of, so my marks were not higher. But today, if we were doing an exercise, I would finish it quicker, not because I'm better at English than her, but I've learned and practiced and taught strategies to look for things more quickly. Okay? Let's look at this second ad that talks about Anderson Family Vision Care. And so, what is the phone number for Winnipeg North?
204-366-3.
Okay, yeah, and then 7482. Okay, and how do they describe your eyes in that ad? How do they describe your eyes?
High-techs, high-techs,
Okay, but your eyes, look for your eyes. Tired? Yeah, okay, so tired, dry, red, irritated. Okay, so let me ask you a question. If you don't know what irritated is, can I still answer the question, how do they describe your eyes?
Sure.
No.
Yeah, because I don't need to know the vocabulary, I just need to understand what are the adjectives describing my eyes. And this is a mind switch, and this goes back, sometimes people will spend weeks, well, half an hour a day or weeks memorizing vocabulary. And it's not always wrong, but sometimes in the test, you're going to find vocabulary or things you don't know, but you can still use other strategies to find the answer. So when I'm looking at that question, if I was asked on a test, it says, how are your eyes described? Well, tired, dry, red, or irritated. I don't need to know what irritated means. I just need to know where to find that.
Yeah.
Okay? So keep in mind though, this isn't a strategy for 100% of your test. It's like I said, 30 to 40% of your test where you can understand parts of that. Okay, now I'm going to get you guys to do a little bit more work. I was just kind of with that. But turn to the middle. Okay, turn to the middle part. And we're going to look at page 9, the bottom of page 9. So if you want to fold your paper, and then you see here in the bottom of page 9, what is the heading, or what is this article about?
Building life skills.
Okay, so building life skills, and what else? Who is it for?
For kids.
For kids, right. So it's helping you identify what are some skills for kids. So I don't see, and this article isn't the best for part of this, but I don't see a lot of, names in this article. But what numbers do you see in this section?
Age 3 to
Okay,
5,
so
2,
3 to 5, 6 to tweens,
6 to 3.
okay, 2 to 3. So based on that, so 2 to 3, 3 to 5, 6 to tweens, what do you think tweens means?
13?
Okay, 6 to, so 13, someone said? Okay, anything else?
Oh, under 18.
Okay. So under 18, okay? So yeah, those are both good guesses or good ideas with that. So you probably know the word teenagers, but maybe you've never seen tweens, okay? But this comes from the word between. And so it's usually used to describe, because you have kids, children, so you have toddlers, you have elementary age, then you have junior high age, and then you have teenagers. So in this case, it's probably 6 to 12 or 6 to 13. So I don't know that exactly. I'm making a logical guess, but I can see that this is in sections, and I know that teenagers are 13 to 18, so it's probably somewhere in this area. Okay. Okay. So it's kind of looking for numbers, using a bit of logical thinking or ideas and identifying parts within this. Okay, so let me ask you a few questions. What age do they suggest that you can be feeding pets? Okay.
3 to 5.
Okay, yeah, and some of you are like, what? How did they find the answer so quick? So, under each age, you see these bullet points, and I asked the very top one here, so maybe your eye was already drawn there, but the age is 3 to 5, and then it has feeding pets. Okay, so let me ask another question. When can you be emptying trash cans?
6 to kids.
6 to 10.
Okay, so 6 to tweens. So that one's a little bit harder, but basically you're scrolling down, you're looking for the specific word of organizing or trash cans, and then underneath the 6 to tweens, it's about halfway down. Okay? So, let me, I know, yeah, time-wise, I'm just going to stop there, but let me just summarize this by saying, can you do this at home?
Yeah.
Okay? And so this is where sometimes students think, well, I need to go to the library and get a book, or I need to be studying, but these are just short, simple exercises that a coach would help you, instead of with the, dribbling, passing, shooting. This is where you would be just taking material, anything, even if it's too hard academically, because sometimes students will look at this and say, well, I don't know these words, I don't understand this. But you can use this skill of just finding numbers, finding names, scanning through 10 minutes a day, 3 times a week, and that way you can be getting faster with looking and finding details. And then you can move to a bit more advanced, where you're looking at the questions, what are the keywords in the question, then going through and finding, okay, how do I answer those questions? Any questions or comments from this? No? Okay, I'll stop talking, because now you guys have a chance to talk and converse with each other. But yeah, I'll let Donna move into the next section with that. Over the next few, well, I'll say one more thing, I like to talk. Over the next few weeks, we'll also give some strategies for listening, for writing, and for speaking. And then there'll also be some with pronunciation and with vocabulary. No, with vocabulary you guys did last week, right? General and academic? Yeah, with that. Yeah, so it's been a long week. But anyway, but there'll be short videos with each of those areas and to be helping people to understand different skills and strategies to help you learn a little bit faster. So Donna, I'll pass it over to you, and then I'll, yeah, so if you want
Sounds
to.
good. Thanks, Trevor.
Oh, yeah, well, here, I was like, was I even recording?